Greetings, greetings, peace and blessings. We are the Mohammeds, the residential tourists, 85 to Africa, living in the after. And today, as all other days, we are very much excited and we are anticipating, highly anticipating, hearing from our special guest. But before I go any further, please, someone tell us, can you hear us? You got to always do the mic check first. Just a thumbs up would be absolutely super. Anyone? Yes, Brother Kenneth, thank you for that confirmation. We greatly appreciate it and welcome, and thank you so much for tuning in. Sister Cheryl, always in the place to be. Thank you for joining in as well. And Gullah Jack, again, all of these for David B, all these familiar, you know what, remember, for those of us who know, back in the States, Romper Room, I feel like Romper Room. Anyway.
That's your generation.
That's her generation. Anyway, so thank you so much. We're glad to have you. I want to, of course, give acknowledgement to you, the subscribers and viewers. We greatly appreciate you taking this time out this early morning for many of you to tune in to hear what we got to say.
Yes, we have Kenneth Frederick on, Sister Cheryl's on, David B, EMCD, greetings, Eugenia from ATL here. Gambia was the first African country I've ever visited. Back then they had a Roots Homecoming Festival for the diaspora. I hate that they stopped doing that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Gullah Jack, Assalamu alaikum. Ahijah, Israel, yes, can hear.
Salam. Shalom.
JG says Happy Savior's Day.
Happy Savior's Day, man. Listen, oh my gosh, I wish I was in Detroit. Anyway.
Sister Camila laughing at you.
Yeah. She know about Romper. I know that's why she laughing.
Ahijah, Israel, Shalom from family from Ghana.
Yes, shalom.
And we got Miriam Howard, greetings family.
Greetings to Miriam. So thank you for tuning in, as always. And also, we have to acknowledge our members. I think we have a new member. I'm not sure if it's a new member or a renewed member, because I recall seeing.
Who?
I can't remember exactly, but I remember seeing it's in there. Anyway, thank you.
And let us know where y'all calling in from. I don't know why people say that, but I like to know. it just does something. I'm like, wow, they're listening all the way from Australia.
Yeah, that's a beautiful thing.
We got people from Ghana on here.
It's a beautiful thing. So before we go any further, we would be very remiss. We're not proselytizing or anything like that, but the crowning event of Black History Month, as we always say, is the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan giving a keynote address there in the United States in Detroit at Huntington Place. And it will be at 2 p.m. 2 p.m. For those who are not in Detroit, can tune in, www.noi.org and take a listen. But let me share this with you here momentarily as an advertisement. Have to do it. So here we go.
February 23rd through the 25th, Savior's Day is back as the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan speaks to the world live from the Huntington Center. His lecture, What Does Allah, the Great Mahdi, and the Great Messiah have to say about the war in the Middle East?
Why must there be a war of Armageddon? Because Satan has to be exposed.
It's Savior's Day 2024. Get all the details and your tickets now at noi.org. That's noi.org.
Okay, so please, very important message, as many may know already, that we are in a very crucial time. So that which affects us abroad often affects us domestically as well. So very timely message that I'm sure that will be delivered. I'll be tuning in. Unfortunately, I can't make it, but I'll definitely be tuning in. And you're welcome. I said 2 p.m., I believe, Central. 2 p.m. Central. Detroit is Central. Okay. Either way, check it out. All right. Anyway, moving forward. So very interesting, very timely, very important, very significant matter that we have to continue to shed light on and bring awareness to, all right? Let me first give a correction in the title. I placed on it 6 African Americans. However, it was 5 African American and 1 British, okay, who was unfortunately the last of those who unfortunately lost their life. So I don't want to, I didn't mean to overshadow if that's how it was perceived. That was just an error on my part, but it's all the same. She's a black woman.
It was an error, but it wasn't, because there's actually 7.
So
Some people keep saying the
there's
7.
a 7th person there, we
And
don't know.
the 6 of them is from the States and 1 is from UK. But I haven't gotten the name or the story behind that first person or that 7th person.
So before we go forward, I think that it's out of respect, right? We just say, you know, in acknowledgement of these individuals, their name, for those that may not know, okay? It's not any particular order or anything like that, but we have Andrea Martin, who was also known as Anja Africa. We have Sister Veronica Histed, and we have Dr. Beverly Allen, Audrey Davis, and sister named Mary. I did get her last name, but it's a unique last name, but I didn't write it down. I apologize. I'll try to put it somewhere, community or something. And Shakina Chinadu. These are the sisters, and there's a 7th that we're not aware of that we were told of. But these are the individuals of whom lost their lives, and allegedly, well, one is not alleged, one is actual fact, which is our sister from the UK who was actually murdered, right? And the others is an alleged of the others as well, of food poisoning and so forth and so on. Nonetheless, they lost their lives, and what to do? We can't just let it be. It has needs something to be done. Go ahead.
Yeah, so in the comments, some of our comments, it was kind of alarming, because the comments were, okay, nobody else dies anywhere else in the world. We don't have Africans that die in America. We don't have, and the part that's alarming for me is, yeah, we do. We do. And so the thing that is different when it's Africans that die in America, you're not looked at as an African that died in America. You're a Black person that died in America. And for, I don't know, there's murder. We tell you this up front. You come over to America, you're gonna be treated like we get treated. Not just from us, but from them. But when you're over here in a country, and you're in Gambia, and it's a peaceful country, I've seen comments where people are saying, well, it's a Muslim country, so that's to be expected.
No, that's not Islam.
What?
No, that ain't Islam. I didn't see that one.
Oh, it's in there.
No, that's not Islam.
We've been in Muslim countries, Mombasa, beautiful, beautiful Muslim island. Very peaceful, very, very peaceful. I mean, even to cats, to animals. There's so much respect. Muslims are not violent people. You're getting culture and the religion and trying to mix it up. It's not right. Because America is supposed to be a Christian-based country. Do we want to start pulling out all the disgusting madness that goes on in the States right now and say, oh, well, it's a Christian country, that's to be expected?
And that's not Christianity.
At all. So please don't come on with the ignorance. Because come on.
So
We're not bred that way.
no, we're not.
We're not bred that way. And so to say it's a Muslim country, what do you expect? No, because a lot of times you're getting Islam and you're getting Islam, which is their culture mixed in with what being a Muslim is supposed to be. Don't confuse the two. Because what's going on in even in the Middle East and all these other countries in the name of Islam, that's not Islam. That's Islam, for real.
It brings to mind when you said, you know, like when our African brothers and sisters come over to the States and they are mistreated, we rally. I remember some years ago, the brother Amadou Diallo, I think he was Ethiopian, I believe it was in New York, and he was, I think it was some form of police brutality, and it was terrible. And definitely bad because from what we see this is another black man, you know,
Period.
who's from another continent or another country, but nonetheless, we the same, you understand? And so we definitely are championing the cause of justice where there is injustice for whomever, specifically and particularly the black man and black woman. And these particular sisters here, for me, what I was able to see in some of the comments, not from our content, but from all other types of content that's being presented and bringing awareness and shedding light on this. A lot of the comments, it seemed that it was an undertone like almost like because of how they presented themselves. These were strong black women.
Because they're strong.
That they kind of deserved it. That's the kind of the undertone that it was like, you know, kind of being dismissive. And I found that really disturbing, man. It was really disturbing, man, because it's like these are women, these are our sisters, right? Whether we knew them or not. And it would be all the same if it were even in America or the UK or wherever the case may be. The outcry would still be the same. However, I think what brings a greater light, if I may say, to this is because we've said it already before, I believe last week, we come to Africa or Thailand, wherever, you know, because we're trying to live in a society where we don't have to deal with these particular things. You understand? And so it just brings it adds a little more to it. It just adds a little more to it. And, you know, we're not looking down on the Gambian people. This is not what this is about. This is not about bringing, you know, looking down on the Gambian people or Africans for that matter. This is not this. This is not it. It is recognizing, from my vantage point, recognizing they are black women and they are women, right? This is very important. It's very, very important. And these individuals came that they could live, you know, a peaceful life, So, is there a need for justice? Is there a call for justice?
And if not a call for justice, is it definitely a need for a call of investigation? Anywhere you go, if we're going to hear 6 women in a certain age bracket, certain financial bracket, in the same area that dies in 2 years, in a matter of 2 years, it's really 9 months for most of them. And then the rest was within the 2-year time period. But 6 black women died in 2 years in a peaceful country. And they're foreigners. That should be alarming. That should be alarming. When there's 2 people that died in these islands from alcohol poisoning, the US shut it down. Oh, you're on red alert, level 4, don't go, no more support, all kinds of stuff. We got people where it should be investigations being done in that country. But because it's Africa, they went home. That's where they belong. Because still to this day, I have not seen anything on international news, CNN, Al Jazeera. Someone did say that they did an article in New York Times. It wasn't about the investigation that needs to be done. It wasn't. It wasn't even worth reading.
That's really, and that's, you know, there's a very historical figure, a very, very significant historical figure among Black Americans, W.E.B. Du Bois, whom I really, really love. I love his intellect. Many may know of him, but not to go in deep into him. It's something that he said that in his research and his study to introduce the Black plight in the sociological scheme of things where we weren't considered during that time.
Okay.
And he stated, and I'm just kind of paraphrasing, it's not a direct quote. If somebody wants to give the direct quote, please do. He said, as Black people, in America, suffer from a double consciousness of trying to be both American and Black at the same time, right? And that's a heck of, and we can relate to that because that's a heck of a way to live. Excuse me. And coming to Africa, trying to, I guess, blend into the society with whatever country that you decide to move to, it kind of still holds a bit the same, a little bit. We are trying to be identified as Black people, but we're still held to be identified as American, which we come from America, we get the benefits, quote unquote, true enough, but we have a totally different experience. And this is what we're trying to convey in the way of justice. And that just as if these sisters would have been, if there is foul play, for those that are victims of foul play in this instance, would have occurred in America, it would have been, it's the same fight for justice. It would have been the same fight, and it is the same fight.
Most likely, there wouldn't be no investigation there.
Exactly.
Because we're just Black.
So here we are. We're here in Africa, and particularly we're in Gambia. I'll make that specification. I don't want to generalize. I got chopped up for that.
But I want to address with this before you go and bring it.
Sure.
Liz said she saw a content creator say Western women bring their male energy to Africa, and that's what brings us trouble. And that's troubling to me because a lot of times people don't understand why Black women are the way that they are and how we were made to be the way that we are, how we had to fight for everything, how we had to be the backbone of the family, how we have to carry the weight when our men couldn't, when for some cases wouldn't. And so, and this is passed down through generations and generations. We constantly get told, oh, we got male energy. Well, I wonder why. We're constantly told that we're trying to act like we men. Why? Because we're trying to handle business. If we don't, we're raising children, taking care of businesses, our families, and so forth. But if we don't, who will? So when we come over here, as I always tell people, even when we were in Rwanda, when Black Americans come over here, we're coming with something. We got stuff on us. We got baggage. We got engrams. We got stuff that stimulates us because of what we've been through. So yeah, we're coming over here. We do have a certain energy because we're used to fighting for everything. And when we hit Africa, guess what? It's a different kind of fight. And it stimulates you. And it's sometimes it could be frustrating. You just fighting just so that you can get a fair treatment or a fair ride. Cost of it's a constant fight. And for some of us, we bout it. We come with that. But when you say that these women, 55 to 65 years old, probably coming with that male energy, what male energy is that? They retired. They over trying to make a difference. They over trying to do something. They trying to accomplish something. And even though it may not have been wanted, okay, maybe they don't want to change. Maybe they don't want to know a new way or learn a new way. It does not mean that they should have been killed for it.
If they were, as one was.
Right.
Absolutely, straight up, no question about it.
And so, and what it does, and what I hate that this does, it makes other single women afraid. Afraid to travel, afraid to relocate, afraid to come to Africa, and you don't have to be. You really don't have to be. Don't let this situation, this fear, keep you from seeing and doing what you want to do in life. And if Africa is the dream, it is the choice, then let it be. Let it be. I never even knew about solo travelers until I came to Africa. I've never seen it. I never heard about it. And to hear that these solo travelers most of them are Black women. What?
Older Black.
And then they hear that these are mamas, these are senior Black women out here traveling the world, not just Africa. I'm talking about the world. Man, Mama One, who's in her 80s, she used to backpack in South America. What? I thought only white people did that and did it by herself. And this is before cell phones. And she did it by herself. Mama Kavanaugh, same thing. South America, North America, went to Mexico. She's been all over the world by herself. Fearless. I'm looking like, wow, is that really a thing? Every single female that I met in Rwanda, if they weren't married, they were solo travelers.
I think adding to that, in your desire and in your effort to actually go ahead and travel solo, I do think, just in general, this is just my training, is that we have to cover down on the woman to protect and to make sure that there is a measure of protection. And her training as well is to make sure that protective measures are in place. And that's anywhere, you know, and I can't get away from it. You know, we're taught that a nation can rise no higher than the woman. The value of a woman is such that when you teach, or if you mistreat, I'll put it in these terms, just to kind of, if you mistreat a man, you mistreat a man. But if you mistreat or devalue a woman, you mistreat and devalue a nation, because she is the birth of the civilization. She is that which gives life and teaches and shapes and molds life that is bringing forth. So the character of a nation is judged by the character of the woman. And so she has a certain value that deserves outright, regardless, that needs to be guarded and protected. So it has to be that measure. I mean, if women are deciding to travel, understanding that, or having the understanding that, unfortunately, the globe is not ready to receive such, I would say, beauty of a woman as represented by the Black woman. America, UK, Africa, wherever the case may be. But know and rest assured that her value is such that brings us to this point where if a life is lost in her, in anybody, but in her, we definitely have to investigate. We have to understand what it is that's going on and bring justice to what needs to be brought justice to. So we wanna deal with this. We want to keep the energy up, because I'm gonna tell you, Mr. Collins going, listen, strap in your seatbelts, okay? I'm telling you.
The reason why we actually thought that this was a worthy subject, because you know, we've been seeing stuff like this our whole lives. But Mr. Collins sent us, and I got a couple of videos before him sending it, but he sent it with fire attached. Fire attached. Mr. Collins, he's like,
I love it.
We can't have this.
I love
We can't have this. And the reason why it happens here, because we don't know how to unite in the States, and we definitely bring that same energy to Africa. And I remember we were going through a situation, and one of the locals in Orlando said, why are the expats acting like this? And I'm like, really? We have no unity. We have no strength by yourself. You come over here, and the locals want you to unify with other African. And here in Kenya, they're like, y'all need to be the next, 46th tribe. They're telling us, y'all need to get together and unite and build a community like all the other places do. And then you adapt to the country, and we respect you as a community. And so I'm hearing this, and it was like, because when you initially think to come to Africa, you think, I need to come and adapt to their community. I need to try to fit in with them. No, you can't. There's no way possible. I don't care how much language you learn. you're never going to be looked at as a local. Never. They could look at you as family. That's my peoples. Yo, I love them. But you're never going to not be considered. You're never going to be considered a local. You have to build your community there. And for the Gambia to have so many other expats there, so many, and nobody's checking on each other, nobody's trying to figure out what's going on, nobody's rallying behind these women. People are hurt. These people will have friends there. They have family. And there's no answers to these questions because we're not unified. It's mind-blowing. And now I understand the real power behind unity. So,
very well said, sweetie. So, listen, Mr. Colin, I love his energy, I love his passion. And I think this is just me speaking, I'm speaking for myself. With the level of energy and passion that Mr. Colin has as it relates to this matter is what we should, as men, I'm gonna put it like that, as men, is what we should have. I mean, he's a soldier. He's a soldier. So he's gonna bring in a perspective. We got Bookman Dessalines, ain't seen you in a while. Good to see you. And so we're gonna bring Mr. Colin, and he's gonna share with us. He's been on it. He's been doing his due diligence. He's been, out trying to, really force the hand for those who can do something, can investigate, can bring justice where justice is necessary and needed. And before I go any further, here's an interesting point when we're dealing with the UK, our sister in the UK. And a sister who happens to be, who's a friend of ours, who happens to be in the Gambia, shared with us we can't share with you, but share with us an audio, right? That was an audio message that was sent to her. And it was with respect to our beloved sister from the UK who was actually murdered. And they were Johnny on the spot, on the case. They were really, the investigation, it was on it, taking place, follow-ups, and so forth and so. Exactly. Here's the thing, though. Justice is justice. We want justice for our sister. But the thing is, this message came from a Caucasian, right? A Mzungu, right? And it's cool. Great. That's a beautiful thing that it's championing, that call for justice to get. But we have to have that same fervor, that fire, that same look. We got to listen. Hold up now. Stop. Everything stops. We got to make sure what's going on here. What's happening with our sister? Wait, first time, okay. Wait, what's going? Second time, third. Wait. Somebody got to do something about it. And this is the energy our beloved brother, Mr. Colin, has. He's like, this is enough is enough.
Yeah.
Right? The value of life that we have value. Black Lives Matter, we preach Black Lives Matter in America. To whom, right? So now here we are, where we feeling that we shouldn't have to worry about that. But maybe we do. So
and Lady Visionary, I'm amongst the docs. I'm so sad as well. I'm sad as well because I could see how it can happen. Going through what we've been through, I could see how it happens, and it's sad. It's sad.
Go ahead. If you want, before I bring Mr. Colin, you ready?
So, let's bring Mr. Colin, our elder firecracker, that's going to come and let us know how we're supposed to be.
By the way,
dealing with these type of issues.
When we first came to Rwanda, Mr. Colin was one of the first, if not the first, that came. He visited us. He sat with us, and he gave us, a bit of a foundation there. So we are really indebted to Mr. Colin. Anyway, we'll bring Mr. Colin on. Let's see. Give me a moment. I'm slow with these things here.
It's kind of like, wait a minute. Okay.
Okay. All right. So, Mr. Colin, make sure that we want to do audio with you. Make sure you can be heard because we want to hear every word that you're sharing and saying. So let's make sure we can hear you. Please, everyone, let us know.
Testing. I'm here. I'm present. I'm ready to roll. Did you hear me? Uh-oh. I'm here, I'm present, and I'm speaking. I'm ready to roll. Did you hear me? I don't know why they have a problem hearing me now.
We can hear you. We can hear you, Mr. Colin.
Okay, you can hear me loud and clear? I'm hearing a slight echo of my voice. You have to fix it from there.
Go ahead, Mr. Colin. You got it. You got it.
Okay. You have a question for me?
Okay, so let's dive in with the question. So you and I have spoken over the course of a week and a half or so, something to that effect. And as I mentioned, you reached out and you shared with us really your passion, your energy about this particular matter here. And you told me straight off the bat that you was going in. You're gonna get all the necessary parties involved. You going to the highest to the lowest to make sure that we look into these matters the way that they ought to and they should. If you would, could you just share with us what it is that you had done thus far, who you reached out to, and maybe where we are at this particular point in time?
Okay, thank you, my brother. First of all, I recognize some of the names that's coming up on the screen. And I just want to give a shout out to Lady Visionary and her husband, Patrick. I just saw them on the screen a moment ago. All right. They are up here in Musanze. All right. As you know, America is broken down into, the government is broken down into 3 levels: the executive, the judiciary, and the legislature. The executive is what runs the Department of State. The Department of State is what houses all the embassies around the world. The Department of State also handles the Department of Justice, right? That's how America is set up. So I'm talking to some attorneys, a couple of Black women who worked for the Department of Justice, who have since retired. I'm talking to a brother in the National Black Journalists Association, right? And I'm waiting for them to get back to me, okay? I sent them all the information that I have of the names of the ladies who died suspiciously, and also the lady who was brutally murdered, okay? So they're the ones who could put things in motion in Washington. And once the Department of Justice becomes involved, then we could talk about possibly getting FBI agents into Gambia, all right? We're talking about getting trained FBI agents who do this kind of thing into the Gambia. Now, let me say one thing about that. We have a tendency of saying, well, we are Black, so the American government will not help us. Well, I could tell you 2 instances where the American government went to bat for Black people in African countries, and another instance where they went to bat for a Black lady in an Eastern European country and got them justice, right? I won't go into the details of that online, but I know this for a fact because I follow these cases clearly. This was back in the 80s and the 90s, back in the 80s when I was a college student. All right, so let us put that to rest, okay? Now, keep in mind, what are we dealing here with, brother? We're dealing with cold-blooded murder, okay? Cold-blooded murder, nothing less than that. A woman got her head and her skull bashed in by some idiot. For whatever reason, we're not sure yet because no case is in court. I watched the press conference of the chief of police of the Gambia. Let me say this. I don't know how the police handle things in Gambia, but this man broke the chain of evidence, okay? When he handled the evidence out there in public without any gloves, anything protecting the evidence. That is inadmissible in an American court, right? That is not professionally done. You cannot break, they call it the chain of custody, I believe, is the legal term for it. One of the sisters in line, who is an attorney, I think in New York, I'm not sure, she was talking about that. This is a police officer, a commissioner of police, breaking chain of custody right then and there. Okay? So that is as far as a technical or a procedural position that should not happen. That's number one. Number two, let me just respond to some of the nonsense I'm hearing online, even from some of our people, okay, about African Americans' attitude in or on the continent. Let me say something. Those of us who subscribe to Pan-Africanism know full well, okay? Pan-Africanism is not just about living on the continent. Pan-Africanism is about living anywhere in the black world and meeting your goals and achievements, okay? All right? Meeting your goals and achievements and settling into those cultures and being effective, okay? There are 1.1 million Africans living in America. I went to school with African guys, okay? My deepest, best friends were Nigerians and still are today. I got a brother from Kenya right here now sitting in my house. I live in Musanze, Rwanda, okay, where I'm loved and appreciated by most people. Now, you guys know that because I talk about it all the time, okay? There are Africans moving into the Caribbean now, and we welcome them. Last night, I heard one of my cousins is getting married to a brother from South Africa, and I send them congratulations, and I say, right on, okay? Now, having said that, we cannot have Africa or African-American brothers and sisters, and I consider myself African-American because I live in America for all these years, okay? And my children are American. Understand me? My children were born in America. We cannot have people murdering people and maintain Pan-Africanism. It just can't happen. We cannot have people conspiring to murder people and maintain Pan-Africanism, right? If these people get away with this in Gambia, where's next and who's next? Okay? We all have to live at peace in each other's countries. Unity is not conformity. Okay? I'll say that again. Unity is not simple conformity. Unity is brotherhood. Brotherhood is us expressing how we feel and our differences and so forth, right? Every sister I know who moved to a Muslim country have made the adjustments. If what you do in your country is contrary to what Americans do, instead I'm going to talk about it. All right? We can't have people murdering people. This is murder. Civilized people cannot get away with murder, plain and simple. If I have to be a martyr saying that, so be it. I don't know what else to say. We just had Carnival in Trinidad, right? We had over 300 Africans that was a counterhood. Everybody was having a great time. All right? We have to feel comfortable in each other's countries. Simple as that. Whether we're religiously different or whatever, it doesn't make a difference. We have to welcome each other and appreciate our differences. I don't understand why the Gambian police was not in on this from the beginning. You went from 1 to 2 to 3 to 4 to 5. Okay? The FBI is very, very good at coming up with circumstantial evidence. Okay? The FBI is very good at going backwards and pulling circumstantial evidence and bringing people to justice. You don't know the power of our FBI. Okay? You don't know how good those guys are. All right? I have an NPA. I have worked with some of those guys on projects in America. Okay? Those guys are beyond good. They're fantastic at that. They have all kind of devices and uses of things that they actually do. We have to solve this. We must solve this. Okay? And I'm doing what I can with my friends in Los Angeles and Washington to bring some justice to this. Talk is not going to do it. We have to go down and fight for this. All right? My African colleagues in the Caribbean right now are very upset about this. They're very, very upset about this. Okay? You cannot go around murdering people. You can't do it. It's just not acceptable. And justice has to be done, one way or the other. Okay? And the only way I know it could be done, maybe I'm wrong and I stand corrected, is through the American government. And we have to get the American government to act on this. Plain and simple. That's where I come down. This is not some individual getting mad and doing something stupid. This is deliberate murder after murder after murder after murder. Right? So that's the first part on that I got to say. I'd love you to respond. Then what I want to delineate is the African-American contributions in Africa, going back to the 1930s. All right? I have my receipts, brother. I have my receipts and I want to talk about that too. All right? This is how you get value in a place, by the contributions you make. And I want to talk about African-American contributions going back to Africa from the 1930s. All right? That's the second part I want to talk about.
So
but I don't want to launch it.
What steps would you like to see? Which steps would you like to see for this to happen, this investigation? Are we just talking about the murder, or are we investigating all six? What would you like to see happen? What would be the outcome?
I want to see the outcome based on what happened. When the FBI come to Africa, and they start asking questions, those guys dig up such circumstantial evidence like that is unbelievable. These are the American government is very, very sophisticated. Right? What I like to see is justice. Whoever did it get caught and punished. That's it. You know, you can't compromise on murder. You can't compromise on conspiracy to commit murder if it indeed exists. You can't do it. Who are we? Are we mosquitoes? Are we flies that could just go around killing us? I don't think so. I don't think so.
What do you say to people like someone says, what's that, PS point, 5 point star? We have so many murders in Black communities in America, more than the Gambia. Don't you think we need to focus on that? How do you respond to that, where they're saying that those energies that should be focused on America and not even worried about the Americans that are actually in other countries?
Let me just, before you, please, Ms. Khan, just maybe add my 2 cents to that particular response. I think that that's very true. We have a lot of that occurring in the US, the UK, the Caribbean. I think what makes this unique and different is that these occurrences that take place of the same in America, UK, or wherever, there is more of a likelihood. It's not, we know how it is. We know that justice is not always best served to us as Black people. However, there is an infrastructure. There is as Mr. Colin is saying, there are investigative agencies that we can apply pressure to be certain and to make sure that the due diligence and due process takes place. So here these sisters are, totally 9,000 miles away in a government that doesn't have that type of infrastructure, and that may not have the same level, or are not seen with the same level of value as those of us from where they come from would see into them. So the extra effort has to take place to make sure that, okay, just because they are 9,000 miles away, it still all applies the same. We now have to, those of us who are here on the continent, we have to pick up the mantle and make sure that just as if they were in America, the UK, or wherever, to apply the pressure and the force on the infrastructure in those places, we have to do the same, and more so now that they are in a different infrastructure and culture society that otherwise probably would not even give 2 blinks. So that's just my take. But Mr. Connor, please share your thoughts on that, please.
You know, anytime something is done, you have brutality done somewhere, somebody's always coming up and saying, well, something happened over there, why you didn't do that? So what are we supposed to do? What are we supposed to do? Let it go? This just doesn't make any sense to me. That's an excuse, it's not a reason. That's an excuse, it's not a reason. Our sisters have been murdered here, and we have to understand. We have to understand exactly, okay? I just see Lady Visionary have a thing on the screen there. We have to find out exactly what happened. Let me ask you something. When people get away with murder, they're gonna commit more of it. You understand? When people get away with murder, somebody else is gonna commit more of it. We can't have this. We just can't have this. I don't care what your religious belief is. We can't have people in a civilized society, in a civilized world, getting away with murder. That's as far as I want to go with that. I don't want to waste any more time on that foolish statement, okay? Because it's nonsense.
Okay, yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Cobb. We appreciate that. All right, so you had I'm sorry, you had another question?
No, that was my question.
That was the question. Okay.
Yeah, it's strange because it feels like people feel like because we left American soil, that now we don't deserve American rights. We don't deserve to have fair hearings, and our lives are not worthy anymore to be fought for. Like it's crazy. I don't understand what I'm reading. Yeah, we have a lot of crime going on in the States, but y'all don't say that when they're sending troops and resources to other countries, and they're sending money to other countries instead of helping the homeless in the States. Or we don't say none of that. We're addressing an issue here where we're dying, and it's suspect. Death is natural. We know that. But when you got 6 in 2 years, that's very suspect. And to say, oh, well, we got to redirect our resources to those that are on the continent is unfair. It's very unfair because no one has denounced their passport. No one has said, okay, we're not American anymore. No one has said those things. So why do we feel that we don't deserve to be treated as such?
There's a responsibility, as if in fact we are citizens still, remain citizenship in the U.S., then there's still a responsibility to provide the necessary. This is why we have embassies in these countries. I mean, they're not there just because. They are there for us to be able to, tap in when we need to tap in. And I like what this particular sister here, I believe I'm assuming it's the sister Musica Flower Child. The American Embassy as well as the FBI could step in to make sure that something is done. They may not run them down, but they can slow walk the perps down. They do it in the Middle East. And that makes me think about, I can't help but to think about the fact that I just keep it real. If these were 6 white women, you already know. You already know it will be on CNN, ABC, CBS, C-SPAN,
It don't have to be
BBC, Al Jazeera.
1 or 2.
It would be all over. It would be all over. And for me, this matter is of course the justice, but it's also looking deeper into, the value factor, and ultimately that's going to determine the effort in bringing about the justice, if justice is needed. That do we value these women enough to first fight for them to be able to have justice, and will they apply the justice? Yes, Mr. Colin, go.
One thing that would help a lot, if the families of the 5 American ladies or 6 or whoever lost their lives here could get together and get with a local reporter in the area, he could bubble it up also. You see what I'm saying? Because beat reporters like to work on these things, right? Some investigative reporter could get hold of this, but it would take the families of the women coming together, all right? Coordinating, and the 6 of them going together and tell an investigative reporter, the 6 of us have daughters or whatever, or nieces, wives, whatever, that lost their lives, and it's not going forward in Gambia the way it should. We need American power behind this. That would be a big, big thing in America, all right? And they keep pushing with it. We pushing from the top, the DOJ down, and these sisters are pushing from the bottom up, right? And sooner or later a synergy is going to come around this, all right? Okay, now, here's something else I want to talk about. We have the poobahs of the of the Pan-African world, okay? And I'm calling some names here, okay? I want to call some names here, okay? The poobahs of the Pan-African world. Let me start with a great, indefatigable fighter, Dr. Arikana Kwo, a woman, that brilliant sister from Zimbabwe. I think you guys know who she is, right? Muhammad, do you know who she is? She hasn't said a word about this. She is silent. The question is why, all right? The brother from South Africa, and you know who I'm talking about. He's always in the news. I can't think of his name right now. What's his name? Malema?
Julius Malema.
Julius Malema. Why is he quiet? The brother from Kenya, the eloquent scholar. I can't think of his name.
PLO
Lumumba. He's quiet. Okay? The brother from Nigeria, who was supposed to be in Ghana the other day on the stuff that was canceled, he's quiet. None of them have said a word about this. None of them. And I'm calling on them now to say something. Each and every one of them to say something. You know, Dr. Susan Tate, okay, in Germany, all right, the black lady with that fantastic show. I don't know if you guys have ever seen it. She's quiet. She has not said a word about this. Okay, the African-American brother from who's always on her show, I can't think of his name now. I forget people's names as I get older. The great historian who is on the show with her. Okay, I can't think of his name, but everybody knows who I'm talking about. He's from Brooklyn, New York. He's quiet. Why is he quiet? Huh? Why is he quiet? Why are people quiet about this? So I'm challenging them now, each of them now, to say something. Step up. Step up. Okay, step up and say something right now. And if they don't, we're going to find out something about them that we did not know before.
I agree. Somebody needs to say something. Just want to send a thank you, a shout out to Ebony Repat. She says the FBI has no authority to intervene unless invited by the Gambian government to do so. The Repat community nor the families of the victims have come together to demand justice. And that was amazing. Because, okay, the first three ladies had issues, maybe underlying health issues, high blood pressure. To me, for all three of these women to have these issues is very ironic. But after you start seeing a pattern, I would think that even those families from the earlier deaths would at least start coming together saying, wait a minute, something ain't right. Something's not right. Let's reevaluate this. No autopsies done, that's just not a thing, right? In some countries, no autopsy done. There was no investigations on the earlier ones. So why haven't the families started thinking that maybe, just maybe, there wasn't a natural cause?
Exactly. Exactly. Exactly.
You want to share something on that, Mr. Collins?
Well, I agree. I don't have to educate more on that. But all I'm saying is that the Gambian government would invite the FBI when our Department of Justice tell them to invite the FBI. Trust me. There's nobody in the world more powerful than the United States. I mean, come on, who's fooling who?
I think that, yeah, you're right. I'm with you, Mr. Collins. And I think that because, you know, at this point, everything is, as it relates to the manner in which most of them died, we know specifically one was outright murdered. Other is really highly suspicious based on some, you know, things that she said herself before she actually passed away. And I think that this is why, and I'm saying this based on some of the commenting that I'm seeing here and from other content creators. And this the necessity for the investigation is to narrow down, eliminate, or bring to light, whichever the case may be, what the actual cause of death was. And if it was foul play, then we proceed to the next to say, okay, foul play, somebody got to answer to that. And we're going to make sure that they answer to it. So you got a lot of woulda, coulda, shouldas in the comments, and those are quite possible. But again, like you said, Mr. Collins, we got to eliminate the excuses. We have to get to the bare essential of the actual facts of what is. Sure, these things occur all over, but we're not talking about all over. We're talking about the here and the now. We're talking about our
Exactly.
beloved sisters in the Gambia and what has occurred in the Gambia in dealing with that there. So I just wanted to add that point there. So Mr. Colin, give us, please, you were saying that you wanted to bring out some receipts. I like receipts on the contributions that we as Black Americans have made and have given in the way of, if I'm understanding correctly, to Africa, or
Right.
correct me if I'm wrong, because I think that's important, because it goes into a value factor of we
Absolutely.
as Black Americans being here and have been here and giving our contributions. Go ahead, correct me anywhere I'm wrong, but go right ahead, Mr. Collins.
Okay. I was in a history group some years ago, back in the 90s, all right? And that's when I became exposed to a lot of this information in a sort of a left-handed way. Let us start back with something very few people know about. Back in the 1930s, when Italy attacked Ethiopia, Black men, soldiers, okay, Black men who could fly planes, in the 1930s lined up in Harlem to go to Ethiopia to help fight Italians. We had no connection with Ethiopia back then that I know of, okay? But these were African people who looked just like us, that were attacked by people who did not look like us, and our people came forward. There is a statue of an African-American brother who flew majestically over Ethiopia, defending it from the Italian incursion. His statue is still there in Ethiopia, someplace. Now, I want you to understand this. This is in 1933 or 34, 35 I'm talking about, right? Think about what I just said to you, all right? Think about that for a minute, if you know anything about history, right? Let's come forward a bit. When the HBCUs were formed, right? Africans and African and Caribbean Americans were specifically invited by African Americans to come to the HBCUs, okay? As Booker T. Washington, whoever those guys formed them back in those days, right? Back then, the immigration quotas, the American immigration quotas were very discriminatory against, and we'll talk more about this in a minute, very discriminatory against Black people. And many Black countries had a low quota, all right? Remember at that time, we didn't have rights and all that kind of stuff, all right? So a few Black people from the Caribbean and some from Africa gained acceptance into the HBCU system, right? That is something that African Americans actually started and put up their educational system, right? Now, I'm going to stick with that for a while, then I'm going to reverse into something here. That HBUC system is what educated Black professionals from all over the world for decade after decade after decade. When we got our rights, okay, 1964, when we got the Voting Rights Act, 1965, the Fair Housing, if I'm not mistaken, was 1965, all right? Listen to this. 1965, okay, they passed the Fair Immigration and Nationality Act, okay? That was supposed to be something for white Europeans coming to America, all right? Now, they used to discriminate against white people from Eastern Europe. They only wanted northern people from the northern region and Western Europe. So that was a fight started by the white people, right? African Americans realized that there's so much discrimination against Black people coming to America. They joined the fight in full force. And we were able to get the Immigration Nationality Act passed. I went to America in 1969 as a young kid out of high school. And that is when the Caribbean Americans and Africans start pouring into America to go to school. This was something helped and gotten done by African Americans. So African Americans fought to get Africans in America and fought to get Caribbean Americans in America. Do you understand what I'm saying? That is when the wave of immigration and Africans started coming to America. There are now 1.1 million Africans living in America right now, prospering and go to school and so forth. Those were the days when we were getting the dogs on us the guns on us, the fire hoses on us. I benefited from that. All right? I wish you guys would go back to a split screen so I can see you. I want to see your faces as I talk. Okay? Can we do that, Brother Muhammad? There you go. There you go. Now, this is crucial. In the HBCU system, right, that educated so many black people from America and abroad, right, was actually what was actually done by African Americans. I don't know of any black country that have given, except for Trinidad where I'm from, that have given $1 that I know of to the HBUC system. People came and they took from African Americans, they took and they take and they take and they take. Let's speak the truth here tonight, okay? Let's speak the truth here tonight, okay? The framework for African independence in the 1960s in the United Nations was written by a black American who was at the UN at the time. Again, I get older now, I forget people's names. Anybody could check this out, okay? We go on, okay? African Americans have stood up for Africans in Africa. People have taken African students and put them into the houses when they came here and they had no place to stay. We as African Americans have sponsored Africans to come here throughout the years. An Igbo Nigerian lived in my sister's house for 6 months. Do you hear what I tell you? An Igbo Nigerian lived in my sister's house in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. She was a medical doctor to the day she died for 6 months. Okay, let's call in our receipts now. Okay, let's call it in. Let's call it in. Let's call it in with the truth. Okay, let's go on. Let's go on.
So,
I love it, Mr. Colin. I'm gonna let you go back. I love it. I learned so much in just that there. I really appreciate that. Go ahead. She itching.
no, because when we come over, we're trying to bring value. We bring value. And like you said, we have receipts. The value is unlimited. And a lot of times people think the value can only be financial, but what we're bringing is greater than that. One is unity. We're fighting for the same cause. We got the same struggles. And two, we understand what we're working with because we've been there. We've been there. We've been there in the States. So we come over here, we're like, no, we know what we have to do. We know what we can do to make it, I don't want to say better, but to provide more, to be more valuable, to be, and a lot of times that we're looked at as trying to, even in our comments, some people say, well, Black Americans stop thinking that they better than us or better than Africans, or, you know, or they act like we're entitled. That word drives me crazy. Black Americans act like they're entitled. And I'm like, what? If we thought we were entitled, why would we come back to Africa? Mm-hmm. What are we entitled to? What are we trying to do that makes you think that we're entitled? And so when they have this persona about us, it seems like if one of us do die over here, it's like, oh, well, you know, y'all thought y'all were entitled. Y'all thought y'all were better than us. Y'all came over here with all this attitude, and it just creates the stigma that we're not worthy. We're not worthy. Again, you know, we're trying to find home. We're trying to find peace. And then we come here and we see these type of things, and it's like, we're not worthy of just love, period.
That's why the receipts are so necessary and important.
I won't even go into all the individual things.
Yes, come on, Mr. Colin, yeah.
I won't even go into all the individual things that I see people have done throughout the years, okay? Like my ex-wife, who was a school teacher, and one of her girlfriends went to Kenya and saw kids in a bad way, came back to America, quit a teaching job, raised money, went in the boonies in Kenya and opened a school that is still open up to today, that is funded by American money, okay? People don't know of these things. People don't know of these things, and it's time for them to start knowing about it, right? In the Olympics, when they had Rhodesia, right, with the 200,000 or 300,000 people, right? African Americans were the one who stood up for justice for Africans, more than anybody else. I remember that when I was young, okay? So I'm saying all this to say we should welcome each other, and if we have differences or problems, we sit down and work them out. Okay? If we have differences or problems, we sit down and work them out. I am from the Caribbean originally. We can't wait until Africans come to. We have just had 300 Africans, Ghanaians and Nigerians and a few other West Africans for our carnival in Trinidad. And we welcome them. African Tigress is in Tobago right now, the land of my birth, making videos. Woody Maya was there for a whole week. Okay, in the carnival, having a great time. Jamaica has welcomed everybody from Africa. All right, but we have to make one point clear. We wish to be treated as we treat people. Okay, we wish to be treated as we treat people. Simple as that. I don't think that is a demand that anybody cannot stand or bear. All right, I don't think that is a demand that anybody cannot stand or bear. And so I see one brother. Somebody just said here, Justice Thurgood Marshall was involved in the Kenyan independence. He helped write Kenya's first constitution and Bill of Rights. There you go. There you go. Few people scattered about know of these things. You know, I wish some scholar will comprehensively put all of this thing down. Okay. All right.
Yeah, Mr. Colin,
Kwame Nkrumah
I think
was
that
educated in our HBUC system. Dr. Eric Williams from Trinidad, okay, who brought us into a modern nation in Trinidad, wouldn't have a PhD from Howard. Okay, Howard was the place where everybody went to. There wasn't any place else in America accepting anybody else, black people, up in those days, you know. So I challenge any of these guys who come with the foolishness I see it, you know, on the internet every day to come and talk to me. You know, to come and talk to me. What they enjoy in America is what we fought for. And we have no problem sharing.
it's true. Very true.
We have no problem sharing.
Ethiopia, welcome Black Americans. Ghana, welcome Black Americans. Sierra Leone, welcome Black Americans. Welcome Black Americans. No, sir. Or 5-point star. I don't know if you sir or madam, but just because someone says welcome doesn't mean that you're welcome. What is put in place for Black Americans? Just because someone said you could have dual citizenship, but what is put in place for the Black Americans? That's not a welcome. That's a welcome with your dollars. Bring your money here, but that's not a complete welcome. Do we still have to apply for visas? Do we still have to apply to get a citizenship? Do we have to be there for tons of years to just keep applying and getting denied? That's not a welcome. And so a lot of, and then, you know, that's not a welcome. I understand what you're saying, but when we're talking about welcoming, we're talking about things being put in place. Let's say America, they're fighting, they're upset, I think it's Chicago. They're allowing a certain amount of immigrants to come in, and they get right off the bat, they're getting benefits. Exactly. And a lot of people in Chicago are not happy about it because we have a high unemployment rate, we have a high homeless rate, we have a high drug addiction rate, we have a high teen pregnancy rate. We have all these things going on, but they're bringing in people, immigrants in, and giving them all kinds of benefits, medical, financial, food, which is great. I don't see a problem with it if you were also taking care of those in that state. But that's a welcome. You're not getting none of that when you're coming on to to one of these countries that say Karibu, welcome to our country. That's just welcoming your dollars. That's not a welcome. Even here with the 90-day tourist visas, East Africa got the 90-day tourist visa. That's beautiful, but that's not welcoming. That's bring your tourist dollars here for 90 days and go, or 30 days and go. That's not a welcome. We're dealing with semantics and a little tiny bit of rah, rah, rah. That's not enough. We're stolen people. So why would all we get is free 90 days or the word welcome? Why would you do that? Anyway, that's a different topic.
No, that's good. I mean, it's good to address, you know, really, I believe it falls in line, but we can address that in more detail at another time because it warrants that, because there is a bit of there's a miss there. But I think that speaks to what Mr. Colin is presenting, which is why it's necessary to have these receipts that he's pulling out, is that, you know, reciprocity is what it's about. Reciprocity, as we have, as I'm hearing and have read and studied as Black people from America, as we have taken on, in addition to our own struggle, we have added and taken on the plight and the struggle of our African brothers and sisters by coming to aid, whether it be militarily, be educational, or whatever the case may be, then the reciprocity is what we are expecting.
Exactly.
We're expecting the same. So when it comes to the life,
brother, in the 80s, I remember this in the 80s, I was in college, when Ethiopia had a starvation problem, a bad starvation problem. And they were raising money. We are the world, and da, da. I don't know if you guys remember that. Da, 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 da. Who did that? That's Whoopi Goldberg, Michael Jackson, Lionel Richie, and a bunch of other people raised millions of dollars to buy grain to go to Ethiopia. Okay? If it wasn't for African Americans, Nelson Mandela probably would have died in jail. The fighting Black Americans, Maxine Waters from California, the brother, the brilliant Harvard-educated lawyer who died the other day in St. Kitts, they took on the fight. They took the fight to France, they took the fight to England, they took the fight to Germany, wherever they needed to get support to get Mandela out of jail. Which is why Mandela says, we owe Black Americans a favor we can never repay. Right? And that's why they give Oprah special permission to build the school she did in Africa, that housing, that have hundreds and hundreds of girls have graduated from that school by now. I could go on and on and on. I could go on and on and on. Okay.
beautiful. These are beautiful receipts, brother. That is necessary and that we need.
I'm bringing out the receipts, and anybody want to argue with me, come and argue with me. Okay.
It's good stuff, Mr. Collins. So as time is moving upon us, Mr. Collins, so if you would, so we can, we'll just finalize it, bring it out, bring it to a head. What would be, as it relates and pertains to this matter here and moving forward, what is the next step, and what is it that is necessary and needed? Who is necessary? Who is needed?
Okay, like I said, we need the people in Washington to get the executive branch, to get the Department of Justice, okay, to work with the authorities over there in Gambia, all right, and said, this is what has happened, and we need some action on this, and our guys are coming to help you. That's the word they always use in diplomatic language when America wants to come in some place. Help you. We are coming to help you, okay? Right. We also need the families of the girls, okay, to get some public pressure in America to come together. The families of the fallen victims. That always resonates with people. That's a hell of a story. Why did these women die in Africa? Okay, we need the families of the girls to come forward. Okay, look, brother, I'm past fear. I'm 75 years old. Okay, I'm not fearful of anything anymore. I've lived a challenging but a good life. All right, and whatever befalls me, befalls me. I'm not afraid of anything anymore. I'm not afraid of death. I'm not afraid of anything anymore. All right.
I just want to address 5-point star again.
Well, let's wait.
No, let me real quick.
It's 5-point star.
He's missed. It's going over your head. No one's saying that Black Americans aren't doing well on the continent. We're doing fine. Mr. Colin is doing great. There's tons in every country. There's Black Americans that are doing well on the continent. It has nothing to do with
well in America.
period, all over the world. No one said that there isn't. No one is saying anything bad about Ghana. Black Americans love Ghana. Sierra Leone, I hear that's on the rise. Black Americans love Sierra Leone. Kenya is the bomb. We love Kenya. Black Americans are doing excellent over here. No one is saying that. Please. I think my nerves are shot.
We want our African brothers and sisters to come to the Caribbean and do well, and which they're doing. Pan-Africanism doesn't say about Africa alone. It says about the United States, in every Black country there is. We should be free to live wherever we want to live. If we from Africa, we want to live in Trinidad, we do that. There are people, there are professional Africans in Trinidad right now finding out about if they could get visas. All right? What we're talking about here is the murder of people that we cannot accept, that has to stop. And we have to get justice for those people. Simple as that. I don't think we're doing anything or saying anything outrageous or any kind of a thing. If you kill me, I'm supposed to be quiet? I don't get this. Please, somebody explain to me who disagrees with me why I'm doing what I'm doing, why I'm saying what I'm saying. Tell me where I'm wrong, and I'll gladly say I'm wrong. You're going to kill my people and think I'm supposed to be quiet? I don't think so.
And I love it, Mr. Colin. And I think, you know, again, for me, the spirit that you have and the effort that you're making, I think that is something that we all should really have. I really truly believe that. And if not, it's okay. I share the same sentiments as you, brother. You know, we have to do what we have to do. And so whatever it is, as we continue to communicate, Mr. Colin, as you move forward, I'm going to strive with you. Whatever it is that we can do to avail whatever information, direct where we need to direct other persons who are looking to and willing to assist and aid and help to bring what's necessary to light in the way of justice or just bringing out the facts. Let us please know so we can make sure that our viewers, subscribers, definitely can be in the know and lend themselves as well. Who knows? Who knows? So, Mr. Colin, as always, we truly appreciate you more than you know. We appreciate you picking up this mantle and you taking the charge in making sure that our beloved sisters are not forgotten. They are not just, you know, a body that's no more, that's just never to be spoken of, but sisters who actually will be remembered, and justice, hopefully justice will be brought forth. So, Mr. Colin, thank you very much. We appreciate you. If you have anything, anything final else you want to say, please, you can have it. Just if you want to say something else, let us know.
I just want to say, reiterate one more time. Dr. Arikana Cole, the highly respected sister, say something, please. You are a woman, and you are great and you are brilliant, and you're doing so much for our cause. Please, 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 I beg you to say something. That's it. That's what I got to say. All right? Peace out.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Well, family, there you have it.
So, well, for me, a little takeaway from all of this.
No, I wasn't closing down. Yeah, I'm not closing down. We have a few more. We got a few more things we want to share. I just wanted to say that you have it from Mr. Colin. I hope that you were able to receive the sincerity and the genuineness of his concern. And if so, if you share that, be willing to actually pick up and aid and help in this effort. And even if it's something as these individuals that he had presented, I know he was presenting these individuals by name, not to attack or to put down, but these are individuals who have the attention and the respect. The Dr. Arakanas and the Malema and the Lumumba, who we are all highly respect, and we look at them as those who are leading the charge in the cause for a better Africa. And these individuals have the attention and the respect that if they were to vocalize, if they were to share some of that attention on this particular matter, it may expedite or it may cause more help, if you will, to make sure that this thing. So anyway, if you follow these individuals, this is just a suggestion. If you follow these individuals and you want to comment, you want to email or whatever, share, that could be a way of helping. That could be a way of assisting and helping. So, till further notice, we'll bring some more information as Mr. Colin takes this charge here. So go ahead, sweetie.
So for me, my takeaway is, family, we need to come together. Not just those that are coming to the continent, But the issue we have in the States, which drives me crazy, is we only come together at death so that we can take a march. And once the march is over, it's over. And that's it. But if we were already unified, we can prevent half of these things from happening because they know, nothing's going to happen. They're not going to do nothing. And so here on a continent where there's smaller numbers of us, we have to stop competing with each other. Expats, repats, whatever you want to call yourself.
That's right.
We have to unify, not just in the particular country that you're in, but on a whole continent.
Diaspora.
The diaspora, period. When one of us is slain, it should affect us all. When one of us is disrespected, it should affect us all. Yeah, we had a fight in the States just to be able to breathe.
Still fighting.
But now we come here, we have to fight sometimes just for respect. Not for the respect that you have for the dollar, but respect that you have for me in general. I done made a whole pilgrimage back to this continent, trying to make a way, trying to find my way. That's a little bit of respect that's there. You don't know my journey. You don't know our journey. When I share some of the things that I went through in my past, which is nothing compared to others, but when I share some of the things that what I went through in our past, it brings tears to a lot of people's eyes over here. And I'm like, really? Wow. Because it's not so bad for me. But when I'm sharing with locals, they can't believe that someone actually went through those type of things. We have a common ground. But besides that, no one can understand us better than us. If we don't unify, if we don't bridge communities in every country that we move into, then this will continue to happen. And your life really shows no value because nobody's over there fighting for you. No one's fighting for you. So as we were saying before, we're trying to do something different. We're not here in Kenya right now trying to open a business and setting up Airbnb. We're not doing all of that stuff. I don't have the energy for it. Later on down the line, I'm sure Muhammad wants to get his hands in something. But for me, I'm learning my purpose now is to be a helper, to help people coming and to help establish a community so that these things do not no longer happen. And it's important. It's important. So we finally have everything finalized for this event next month on the 24th of March. We'll talk a little bit about it, but he's going to show you. Can you show him the thing?
So I'm going to show you just a little.
I'm excited because this is the first event that the residential tourists have done. We've done stuff with Ikawa Cafe and I've done different things with my catering and chefing, but this is the first event that the residential tourist has done. And we do have some sponsors that are helping us put this event on. So it's going to be major. It's major.
All right, with the major, let's go. Here we go. So that's the advertisement. I'm going to put it in the community so you can have, of course, a longer gaze at it so you can know all of the details. But as you can see that the theme of it is healing, hope, and happiness. And it occurred to us, we may have said it briefly once before as we were talking about it, it occurred to us that that would be befitting when we actually step on the grounds of the facility, which is actually a wellness sanctuary, okay? It was intended. Everything about this space, which is a very large space. And when I say space, I'm not talking about just the brick and mortar. I'm talking about the entire grounds.
It's a healing ground.
It's a the moment that you step on it, you feel it you receive it, you get it, you got it. I'm telling you, it's real. And it was intended that way. For the individual is Kenyan, who has constructed and established this particular facility. And it occurred to me at the very moment that we as diasporas, as we leave from where we're leaving from, America, the UK, the islands, wherever it may be, oftentimes is we are trying to remove ourselves from a traumatic experience, whether it's direct or indirect. And we didn't realize it until we got here, how the effects of the traumatizing way of living in the States, how it affected us in our mental health, our emotional health, even our spiritual, even our physical, really, in truth. And so it was like, okay, yeah, this is what we need. We're coming here because we want to hopefully be able to heal from those particular things, with the hope that as we move forward, we can live in that healing. We can live in it from the moment now and moving forward, and always in the pursuit of happiness. That's what it's all about, to have happiness, however it may be for you or him or her or us, happiness. And this is what we are hoping to achieve. Now, this is the first, but not the only, because this is something that is not going to, exist overnight. As my wife has mentioned and stated, that we are a community, whether we are co-joined as such deliberately or not, we are that. We are a community. So if we are that, why not structure it? Why not develop it? Why not be that, in actuality? And so we're hoping that we can continue to be able to bring forth this networking and bring forth people in the same space to fellowship and to share expertise, to share knowledge, to share whatever the case may be, that we can be a family. We are that. We are family. And so this is what we're intending upon, and we're excited about, and we're hopeful for good attendance. And we have some practical things that lined up. So there's just not a, hey, how you doing? Eat and say, okay, see you whenever. Next time, no, that's not what we're trying to do.
But, okay, now, it's a classy event. It's gonna be classy.
We ain't gotta put no suit on.
No, but it's gonna be classy because I got my hands in it. You're starting off with the mocktail hour. No, it's a vision, man. It's a vision. We're starting off a mocktail hour. We got we have a Kenyan dancers going to be there greeting everyone to come in. You're going to hear the sounds of the drums, which pretty much is like our heartbeat. We have a beautiful local woman that represents the historical site here that's going to be bringing us into the welcoming. And then we're going to do a lot of networking, a lot of building relationships, meeting other expats, finding out what they do, exchanging business cards, taking numbers down, all that kind of wonderful stuff. We're going to have, I call it a roundtable discussion. He says it's something else, but we have, okay.
No.
We have businesses that's here in Kenya where they're targeting expats, where they're investing in expats that want to invest in Africa. We have a bank that wants to give certain incentives for expats to bank with them. We have Kia from the Traverse Travel, who have all the land. She's going to be there explaining the next processes, where they are in the development, how to go about purchasing that land. And even better, even more, we have a Kenyan here who's actually sponsoring us at this event. He's also involved in the immigration process, the immigration, the KRA pins. He's doing all of this for us because they want to see us come and succeed and stay. And the thing is, not only are they here to help us, we're going to be there to help us. We're building communities. People text all the time. Yesterday, a couple emails came through from some of the older women that coming over, and they're like, do y'all have a community there? Like, is there really a family structure there? Can I come and feel like I'm a part of the community? Do we have our own villages there? And I'm like, no, we don't have our village. We're not looking to have a village, but we are trying to build a community amongst ourselves.
I think that's what they meant.
Right? Well, because when we say village, we've seen villages, but we're trying to, people think that Africa is still just local villages. You come to Kenya, your mind gonna be blown. But they do have villages as well, but most of us aren't in the villages. We didn't come from where we came from to come and rough it in the village. But some do want to live off the grid. Some do want to live in a village. That's just not us. But anyway, we're trying to build communities here. So we have a lot going on. We have that. And then it's a dinner buffet in a beautiful restaurant that they have on the grounds. Also, we have spa packages. We only have 6 big spa packages left. Five spa packages left, where you can actually buy a package and stay overnight on the wellness center in their villas that they have. So we have 5 of those left. If you're interested in those, you could probably just hit us up directly, because I don't know if we posted on here. We will post a little later on if we still have some left after this recording. But we do have some spa packages, food. They are going to have some stuff for children as well. Face painting, and I forgot what else. They might do some bouncy houses, he said. But they do have some activities for children. But the main event is for us. And on top of it all, we're going to be giving out gifts throughout the night, celebrating our unity, doing some team building type of, I don't want to say exercise, but activities. We're going to have music.
So we're going to try to do the best that we can to make it a stickable experience and to hopefully launch from as we move forward in keeping this regular and keeping it going. And I would like to add that for those who may be in attendance that are of the Islamic faith, that day I believe is the actual first day of Ramadan. So we will make available space for those of us who want to and need to make salat. And we want to make you to feel comfortable as well. Because I'm gonna be in that number also. And so,
but we plan the dinner portion time closer to the sunset as well.
So that way you can break fast. You can do the iftar in your own way, in that manner. Then also, we're trying to also keep in mind those who may not be meat eaters. Right.
No, we have a vegetarian.
Right. That's what I'm saying. So we got the vegetarian folk family in mind as well. So we're trying to be mindful of all that we can.
And for those that have to have a drink, there's a cash bar on the grounds as well. So we got everything covered. Everything covered. It's going to be an awesome
event. I'm not really cool
event.
with the cash bar thing, but
to each their own.
We got the mocktails.
We got the mocktails.
Drink some juice, man. Some water.
To each their own.
Drink some milk.
You're not going to tell all of those that.
You're good. You can have a good time with a glass of milk.
So the number should be on the flyer. I guess he's going to post it at the end for those that want to buy tickets. We do it through the MPesa, or you could do it through Remitly. I know a lot of you guys are flying in. Now, this is the thing. We only have 60. We have less now because there's about 25 people that we already know that's getting tickets. But we only had 60 to begin with. So the tickets are 6,000 shillings, which is about close to $30, I guess.
30 for the couple was what, 10?
Yeah, and for a couple was 10,000 shillings. And again, everything is included that we just mentioned. It's a whole day of fun, bonding, building, learning, exercises that's going to happen. And if you want to stay overnight at the wellness center, they have an actual spa package where you buy the whole package for 25,000 shillings, which is about $140, and you get an overnight stay in their actual villa. So if you want to come in and stay at the wellness center, let me know. It's about $140. We'll lock you down, and you do get the spa package. So you can, earlier in that morning before the event, you will have your 3.5 hours at the resort spa, which is amazing. And doing, you pick out whatever kind of services you want. They had hot steam, hot rocks. They had deep tissue. They had 40 something different types of spa packages that they offer there.
And it's crazy because like if you get the spa services, right? You know how you go to, if you've gone, you got, you know, spa service, and then after you're done, you're just done, and you walk right out and you're back into the madness. The way they have it set up is you do get your spa services, but they have a little area where you can just kind of have that little buffer between getting that relaxed, retreatable or retreating experience, I should say, and not get thrown back out there. You can just kind of unwind, you can kind of gradually walk back into the world, if you will. So it's really,
and
really
they
nice.
actually have a, what do you call it? A lily pond in the back. So you can, after your spa packages, you can go and sit at the lily pond and just, man, it's going to be hot. It's going to be hot. Fireplaces all around because it's probably going to be a little chilly at that time, but mark your calendars, March 24th. It's amazing that so many of y'all is flying in already. Like there's about 6, 7 different people coming in for this event. So listen, you don't want to miss it. It's only $30 something. You got to do your conversion for 6,000 shillings. and come on and support this effort. And that's just, I don't know, fellowship. Be a family. Start the building of the community. That's the whole point. So with that,
we
thank you.
thank you to everyone.
Well, thank you to those that sent love offerings.
Love offerings. Thank you. Couldn't break away to really give you the full acknowledgement. Ebony. That was one, I know.
Right.
So thank you very much. We appreciate it.
All those that sent last week, I've seen them come in. I've seen especially O'Shea was tearing it up last week on the live with his donations. Thank you guys again. That's what keeps us going from Sunday to Sunday is the love offerings and the blessings that you guys send us, the words of encouragement, your emails. Those for the consultation, yes, we're still doing consultations. Email adilahsrelocationservices@gmail.com. If you want to schedule your consultation, if you want to schedule your relocation service. Y'all got me busy. As you can see, I'm tired. I've been between that and this event. I don't have no energy.
Yeah, she's doing it all by herself too.
I mean, he's doing his part, I'm doing my part. But the coordinating, the administration, the consultation is where I'm tired.
Listen,
but we're gonna keep it moving. Let's keep going.
Tired. You gotta keep on moving, keep on pushing. So thank you so very much. We appreciate you tuning in, and wherever you might be this early morning, enjoy the rest of the day. If in fact you have nothing planned, or if you just want to just kind of hear something good that's inspirational and given with guidance and direction, again, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan will be addressing the world, if you will, at 2 p.m. Central Standard Time, www.noi.org. Tune in so you can get that good word. Doesn't matter what faith or walk of life, it's universal, all right? And thank you so very much for tuning in. So enjoy the rest of your day, enjoy the rest of your evening, and until next time, God willing, we'll see you. Peace and blessings.